One of the questions that was submitted to me recently was basically a question about AI. In particular, what are my thoughts on using AI? Should you use AI to assist in the creative process? Is it wrong? What are the limits to using AI? So where do you draw the line? And I'll tell you. Hello, and welcome to the Storyteller's Mission with Zena Dell Lowe, a podcast for artists and storytellers about changing the world for the better through story. So, first of all, I use ChatGPT all the time. Every day, all day long, I use ChatGPT. Where I'm using it is I am brainstorming ideas. I am getting ideas. I am trying to solve story problems. I'm giving situations like, okay, I've painted myself into a corner. I don't know what are some logical things my character would do to get out of this. Give me some ideas. I use ChatGPT almost entirely now when I write an article. I say, here's what the article is about. Based on that, can you come up with give me 10 title ideas that have a hook in them? But I'm the one that's then, culling it all. I'm the one that's playing with it all. For my nonfiction book, I tend to write a lot in bullet points for myself, like to get the ideas. Like when I give a podcast, I don't write scripts out for myself. I have, bullet points. These are the things. And then I just kind of wing it. And so oftentimes what I'll do if I want to convert that podcast episode into an article, or if I want to convert it into, say, a chapter or whatever, I will take the transcript and I'll put it into ChatGPT and say, can you turn this into, this many page thing? But then I always rewrite, I always rework it. But man, it is nice to get that first version. And I don't feel bad about that because it's still based on my ideas from the transcript. I'm not just coming up with a topic willy-nilly that I have no idea what the answer is and then asking ChatGPT for the answer and then pretending and passing that off as my own work. So it's still based on my thoughts, my thinking. And most of that stuff, though, is for nonfiction. So for nonfiction stuff, I have no problem using it in every way, shape, or form possible to clarify ideas, to correct my stuff, to make it better. I have no qualms at all, but it's still based on my ideas. I have never used it for my novel. I'm not saying there isn't a way to do that, but for my novel that is based on Percy and Wilbur, to me, the writing and how I'm writing it and the syntax, the way the words are put together, it's just so much a part of the creative. It's really not mine if I'm asking ChatGPT to write it. Now, what I might do and what I have done for my novel is, hey, I need some name ideas, or help me come up with some locations, or, some general story world stuff, but not the actual words that I'm writing in the novel. Now, what's funny is that I tend to hold novels in a very high regard. To me, that's the goal, that's the literary standard. And so I have a great deal of respect for novels. I don't have even though I'm a screenwriter, to me, screenwriting isn't as precious because it's changing all the time. I mean, they're changing the words on set as they're shooting. The actors are changing it. I mean, it's a screenplay. While it has to be beautifully written, it is never a finished document. It's only finished after the film is shot and edited, and it's going to vary even then from the script that you submitted that they shot from. It changes. So to me, it's just not as precious. So there are times where I will, and even though it's fiction, where I'll say, okay, here's what needs to happen in this scene. Can you write a rough draft for me? Between these two characters, here are some of the things they need to hit. Usually I hate it. I'm going to be honest with you. I've tried to use it in screenplays. It's just not a very good writer in terms of really understanding dynamics. So I find that ChatGPT is limited in terms of its truly creative ability, and that humans are still better. But where it's great is problem solving. However, before we get there, did you know that there are 7 crucial plot points that every story must hit in order to satisfy the audience? And if you miss even one of those crucial plot points, you risk losing your audience's attention forever. This is why I've created a free training video for you, where I break down exactly what these 7 deadly plot points are. These are the essential plot moments that you need to hit in order to deliver a powerful, compelling, page-turning story. So, be sure to check out my free training video on the 7 deadly plot points. It's going to transform your writing. Just click on the link provided in the notes or head over to thestorytellersmission.com and you can start watching this free training video right away. What should my character do next? Okay, she just got this and she's really trying to do this, but where should she go from here? Just trying to figure out story moments even. I find that it's helpful, but the actual language, I just find it's usually not very well written, or at least not as good as I think I can do. I'm sharing what I do. I don't know that there's any right answer except your own conscience. You have to have a clear conscience before God, and you don't ever want to be accused of plagiarizing. And here's the thing that you have to be careful of. A lot of times what you have to understand how ChatGPT works, because ChatGPT is looking at all the other information that's available and then bringing it together. So if ChatGPT isn't reworking something that you've originally written or spoken out, like in a podcast or something, you don't know if ChatGPT is plagiarizing from somebody else's piece of material. And that's a problem, because down the road you could be really sued if you try to pass that off. So not only is there an ethical consideration in terms of your clear conscience, but there's also a risk if you're not actually doing the work yourself. So I typically rewrite everything a little bit, and not just to avoid that potentiality, but just because I find that ChatGPT doesn't sound exactly like me. And I have my little favorite ways of saying things. But I don't know that there's any one right answer for this. It's just what works best. I will say this. I think it is a fabulous assistant for the creative process, and I don't think we should shun using it. I just think that we ought to use it judiciously with wisdom and not get lazy, because the other thing that I worry about is if there's too much reliance on it, our own quality and creativity will suffer. So we have to be judicious. But it's here. It's happening. And it's almost silly not to find a way to utilize this tool to better assist you in your own writing goals. All right. One more question on this.
I heard through Word Weavers that, and I'm not sure if I've got all my facts straight, but that editors and publishers are starting to want you to say that you haven't used chat or artificial intelligence in your writing, that it's all you, and actually sign something about that. Like I said,
I don't know about that. I will say that, okay, so I'm a monthly contributor. I write an article a month for The Right Conversation with Edie Melson. She collates that. It's all me. I mean, I've written those. You know, those aren't ChatGPT. I've written those articles. But I will tell you this, there have been times where I'm like, okay, I'm missing something here. ChatGPT, what am I missing? Like, what is an element something isn't working here. Can you help me identify it? It will help solve a problem for me. So I've used it for feedback on it. But whatever I turn into Edie is me. It is not ChatGPT. And that's my personal, I feel like it has to be. Otherwise, anybody could just type something in, like, write an article on this, and then, like, I want it to be me.
Maybe that's what they're trying to make sure doesn't happen. I sort of understood that it was just fiction, but
Maybe it is. I don't know enough. I'm sorry, Anne. I don't know. But here's the thing. You can imagine the tricky position this puts people in, right? Because if they publish it and it turns out you plagiarized because ChatGPT, whatever AI you're using, has plagiarized and pulled from other people's stuff, they're on the hook. And also, are you really the writer if you've been using it? But at the same time, we should be using it to help the writing be better. So there is a tricky nuance here, and I can't exactly answer. And I don't know what they're asking people to sign. I haven't heard that. But I would say follow that advice, because I'm not in the publishing world. I can tell you in film, they don't care. If it's an original idea, they don't care if you use AI to write the script. If they love it, they love it. They really don't care. Unfortunately, they probably should, but they don't. So that's the world I'm in. But I would say whatever Anne is saying, find out about that and make sure you're following whatever rules the publishing house you're trying to reach requires, because you don't want to lie either. So that's a great insight, Anne. Thank you for that.
What about using AI for doing things like a pitch or something like that?
Absolutely. Use it, use it, use it.
Okay.
Just remember it has limitations, like you have to put your own human understanding. And I mean, sometimes ChatGPT takes away my magic. If I over rely on it, the way I'm saying something, I know it makes sense, but ChatGPT knows that it could be written better or something, but it's still not the way I want to say it or something. And so, that's why you always want to make sure that you're part of the process and not just deferring all the time to ChatGPT. Your idea might be better, but absolutely. I put together my pitch to get my book published. I used ChatGPT to help me put the pitch together. And I mean, I reworked it and reworked it and reworked it to make it what I wanted, but I used ChatGPT for that and I got a book deal, So
Okay.
I think you use it. I'm using it for my nonfiction book that I'm writing right now on story structure, but I'm reworking it, and it's never the same as it's not just like ChatGPT is spitting something out and I copy and paste it and move on. I'm constantly reworking it. So yes, I would use AI to help with plot points, to help break your story, to help flesh it out, to help with character names, to help with titles, to help with all those things. But to write the story, try to write it yourself, because that's what makes you a writer. Writers write, right? All right. Thank you for listening to The Storyteller's Mission with Zena Dell Lowe. May you go forth inspired to change the world for the better through story.